Dear Rick, I am a big fan of the channel, so I hope this doesn't come across as a troll comment.
Oof, one of them.
When watching the recent Break 75 and the scores that you shot, I can see you have played badly, and then you put in brackets, for your standard. I would be very happy with those scores. You also don't look very happy when you're out on the golf course and you're playing, and then you put again in brackets, I get that you've been playing badly, so I'm not expecting you to be really happy when you're playing the golf that you've played. My question is, though, when I play badly, I've really thought about quitting, and actually I've had 2 stints in the last 15 years where I've stopped playing for a couple of years each time. Have you ever been close to actually quitting playing golf? I get that you can't really because you make golf videos, but deep down, whenever you've played bad, have you considered quitting? So my question, Rick, well, the question from this guy is, have you ever wanted to quit golf, Rick Shiels?
There's the one time which I've definitely alluded to in the past that it made me quit tournament golf was that horrible event that I played in Spain. Not the event wasn't horrible. The way I played at Lumina in Spain was horrendous and really, really bad. But no, I don't think so. Because what's bizarre, when I've played badly and hopefully people have seen it, it's not every single goal. It's not as if I've absolutely chopped it. Like, part of the 2 shanks I hit at Conway, I didn't actually lose a ball. Only lost balls on those 2 shots. Yeah. So, like, my driving was not far off. My putting wasn't great. My iron play was obviously sketchy with a couple of shanks in there. My short game was shocking. But it wasn't as if I couldn't hit anything. So I think because I've got a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, it doesn't really ever make me want to quit. Tournament play, yeah, I'm not that fussed about playing in tournament play, as you know, it's been documented over the last few years. But no, I don't think I'd ever quit.
Do you get why people do quit though, or should no one ever quit golf?
I kind of get it. I hate when I see it, but I kind of get it, because let's say you work Monday to Friday, you're busy job, you know, you might get home late, you might leave early in the morning, you might get home late in the afternoon or evening, you've not seen your family that much, you know, you're not seeing your kids or had a chance to take them to school, and you want to commit to, you know, go out and playing golf on a Saturday morning, every Saturday morning, because you're playing with your mates. You've not really had time to practice, you've not really had time to put any dedication in, and you're out there for 4 or 5 hours and you've played crap and you've actually not enjoyed it. I can kind of get why you might go, why don't I just go and pick up a bike and go and cycle?
Like Rick Shiels.
Because, like, other sports, certainly individual sports that, you know, jokes aside, cycling, like, I never feel like I've had a bad run.
No.
Like, I never go, after a run, I go, oh, that was such a bad run. Like, my technique was bad. Yeah. Sometimes I don't feel as fit as I could do, but I can almost, like, put it back to I had a heavy night last night, or I've run loads this week. Like, I can contribute it to something.
But do you think that's more though because you're often doing the runs for pure exercise, where if someone was actually a fairly competitive runner and they went to like a Saturday park run and they did it in 27 minutes, like, oh, I should have been 24 today. Yeah. They might get that feeling.
Yeah, definitely. Because
it's score, isn't it? Essentially.
Well, what he's saying there as well, and this I saw this in loads and loads of comments. By the way, the comments have been amazing this last week, considering I absolutely chopped it round. But going off that topic, what he said there, going on a similar line to what he said, is that it was a really bad round for me. You can noticeably see I played bad, but so many people said, "Oh my god, I'd sell, you know, my wife to shoot a score, shoot a score that low." Do you know what I mean?
Like the first thing you thought of was his wife.
Like I'd sell.
Could you sell your wife too?
I'd sell a kidney to shoot a score.
Sell my car
under you know, mid-80s. Yeah. So it is all relative. Like, you look at some of the times when these guys have played on tour, and we went to the British Masters last week, which we'll talk about in a second. Like, they'll be walking off absolutely fuming at themselves for shooting a 75 or 76.
But that's one of my friends, when I played yesterday, said something along the lines of wanting to be more consistent or wanting to be consistent or whatever. And I said, the thing is, though, you never in golf achieve consistency.
I don't think you can.
If you look at, like, we've said this before, but some of the tour pros might go 75, 65 or whatever, or the other way around.
100%.
Like, I suppose the number of shots might get closer together, which you could determine consistency, I guess, but it's not really. If you're shooting 66 and 72, that's quite a long way off. Whereas a higher handicapper might be shooting 100 and 122.
100%.
It's still kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Again, it's similar, like I say, to tour pros. They can go out and shoot 65 and 75. It's 10 shots different.
That's massive.
It's massive.
It's huge.
Like, and we saw a bit of that this weekend. I didn't watch loads of the PGA Tour this weekend at the Wells Fargo, but I read a story where I think McIlroy managed to hole a really good putt on the last hole on Friday to just make the cut. So he'd been struggling Thursday, Friday. He goes out Saturday, Sunday. I think he'd finished tied 4th.
He's the one guy I always think of. Yeah. Thinking of that. He can go 77, 67 like that, can't he?
And then you look at Thornborn Ollerson this weekend. He was leading by a substantial, I think 2 or 3 shots going into the final round playing with Marcus Armitage. Him and Marcus both had pretty stinking rounds, pretty much, for their level. I'm sure they would say that as well. Yeah, Thornborn goes and eagles 17, birdies 18 to win it. Yeah. Like
that putt on the last was outrageous.
But for 16 holes, he's probably been playing pretty crap. Like he's thinking, I had this in the bag. How have I lost this? And then suddenly a few other leaders dropped down, like Richie Ramsey should have been up there. He doubled the last. He dropped down. And Ollerson would just happen to be in the right place at the right time and sink 2 ridiculous putts to win a tournament. Like, we went to the British Masters, and how many times I think the biggest standout, and we talked about this when we were having lunch, I think, the fact their bad golf is they make a scrappy par, don't they? Obviously, they'll drop in a bogey every now and again, and sometimes, very rarely, a double bogey. But their bad golf, sometimes they can hit a couple of terrible shots on a hole, but they scrap it in on a par.
Well, that's the thing. It's more that they can hit a terrible shot, and they're that good at every aspect of the game. They could miss a green, which is a bad set, say 7-iron, but the chipping's that good. They'll put the chip fairly close or very close, and even if they kind of don't quite put it that close, the putting's that good. They'll probably sink the putt anyway. So yeah, the scoring, but it's an element as well. I think something that Lee Westwood talked about the other day was like this grit and determination, and it's something I just don't have when I'm playing. If I hit a bad shot and I just like walk up to chip, have a quick look, and then maybe put it nowhere near, then miss the putt and come off with a bogey, they take a little bit more, not even more time, it's more attention on each of the shots, and that little bit more attention, that little 10% more over all your shots, it makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Big time. Didn't I bring up a quote a couple of weeks ago that I heard something like tour pros have really short memories?
Yeah,
like because how many times I carry, and I'm sure you do, and a lot of people listening carry bad shots we've hit throughout the round into the next shot. Well, you look at tour pros and they'll hit a bad shot and they'll have a bit of a whinge, and like we saw a tour pro, a good friend of ours, I don't want to kind of discredit him on his, but he had a little bit of a hissy fit on the 18th second shot, didn't he, going into the green, kind of did something that I wasn't massively a big fan of. But next shot, he had a really tough chip. He got up and down. Yeah. I'm like, nowhere. And he forgot that bad shot. It's gone out the way. It's like forgotten about.
Skill.
Also, people, because this is going out Tuesday, would have seen my match against Lee Westwood now.
Yes.
Now,
not everyone, but
I don't want to ruin the results.
Well, okay. If you've not watched it yet, maybe just skip forward a minute or two.
But that's another example where, like, sometimes if it's not going your way, like the front nine for me, I just literally couldn't make the ball go in the hole. It was so frustrating. I was kind of nervy and just I didn't have a nice feeling about me. It just takes a couple of nice shots on the back nine.
Steady the ship.
And like the whole round turned round.
He wanted to destroy you, you know. I asked him on the 17th green, I think again I said last week, and he was adamant he was going to win that match. And he was going to leave no stone unturned.
I like it. But that is the difference. I don't know if I've got that in me. I feel like I'm quite competitive, but I've not got it in me to the level that like these real elite
That's
athletes
how they
have
get to where they get to, isn't it? It's the practice. It's that obsession with being the best.
Like they could do anything they would want to win, wouldn't they? Yeah. Like you look at it with like, even we talked about Formula One a minute ago, like those guys at the front, they have to win. Like, you know, it's so like ingrained in their kind of personality. You look at, again, all the celebrities that were at the F1 this weekend, like you look at like Michael Jordan, he had to win. You look at Serena and Venus Williams, they had to win. David Beckham to a degree had to win. Like it's inbuilt. I wish I could inject it. I wish I could inject that.
Kind of steroids.